Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Minisode number 104. And as you guys can see on the video podcast, I am back in New York City. So if you hear any sirens or honks in the background, that's why. I'm happy to be back. Had fun over the holidays with my family, but I'm definitely happy to be here. And I know Carl, my cat, is definitely happy as well. But we're going to kick this mini-sode off with the easiest way to transform your body in 2021. And I wanted to, first off, you want to make sure you listen to the very end of this because I have a very special offer for you podcast listeners. But I wanted to start this off with rewinding back to my bodybuilding days. Back in 2012, whenever it was my first semester in college, I did my very first drug-free bodybuilding competition. And I did okay. I got fourth place. I enjoyed it a lot. I dieted for about 12 weeks, had a great time. Relatively, it was a new experience, but got fourth place, did okay. And all I knew is that I did want to compete again someday in the future, probably a few years down the road, because as a drug-free athlete, it takes several years to actually make some noticeable progress whenever you've been lifting for a few years. So I knew it was going to take a couple years, and I needed to make sure that I took my quote-unquote off-season seriously to grow some muscle mass during this period. And I tried to do it on my own for about a year, but I wasn't really seeing the results as quickly as I wanted. And there were basically two problems. The first was that I didn't know how to optimize, quote unquote, optimize my training and nutrition plan. I knew a little bit about diet and exercise, but not enough to be confident I was doing everything that I could, right? I wanted to make sure that there were no stones left unturned, right? So that was the first problem. The second problem was that I didn't have the accountability. I was motivated and worked hard. Like that was never an issue, but nothing was really stopping me from like not tracking calories over the weekend or from skipping a few workouts to hang out with friends instead. There wasn't that accountability factor that made sure I went that extra mile even whenever I didn't want to. And so after doing it for myself for about a year, not making the progress that I wanted, going through those two problems, I knew that I needed some type of help. So I hired a fitness coach, and I worked with him for about a year. After that, for 6 months, we did some off-season bulking. We focused on muscle gain, and then after those 6 months were up, then I decided to do another bodybuilding competition my senior year of college. And so for about 6 months, I dieted for it. I took it very seriously. And long story short, I won that natural bodybuilding competition, and I won my drug-free bodybuilding pro card. And that was the last semester of college in 2016. And the biggest thing with this coach, and the point that I'm trying to get at here with this mini-sode, is that it wasn't necessarily his knowledge that helped me out, and took me to that next level. Although that definitely helped. Like he was a very smart guy. He knew his shit. He definitely gave me the guidance there. But I think that the biggest thing was the accountability, right? And that brings us to the crux of this mini-sode. And I think that the easiest way to transform your body in 2021 is to apply pressure to yourself. And the thing is that it's very difficult, especially with fitness, and it's so much of a single person game to do that on your own. And so if you're paying someone to quite a bit of money to help you out, and then also you have a good connection with that person and you want to make sure you make them proud and you don't want to let them down, well, you're definitely not going to be dicking around or not working hard or not being focused within that period of time that you're working with them. You know, you don't want to pay all that money and you don't want to let them down. So of course, like applying pressure to yourself is going to make sure you do the work day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. And that is how you get results over time. And so that's the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away with this minisode, is that you have to have some type of external source, whether it is hiring a coach or not. You have to have some type of pressure on yourself. You have to have something to lose, right? And I think that it's hard to do that without making some type of accountability to yourself. And I think that the easiest way to do that with the accountability and the knowledge aspect of these things is to hire a coach, right? But it starts with a single decision to commit. There's so many people that I talk to that come to me that are smart people that are working hard, but they're in the middle, right? They're wishy-washy, right? They're like, oh, I'll get to it after this. I know I've got a lot going on right now, but I'll get to it later. And then all they're doing, you know, month after month, year after year, is they're looking relatively the same, and they're just kind of spinning their wheels. And so what I would challenge you to do in 2021 in these next few months is if this is something really that's important to you, if your health and fitness is very serious to you, then I think that you need to make it serious, make it a priority, and just decide, because that's what it takes. You have to decide. It comes from a single decision to commit. And I know that can be scary because then the pressure is on. But to make sure that pressure is continuously applied and you're doing the work day in and day out, I think the best thing that you can do and the easiest way to transform your body in 2021 is to hire a fitness coach. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased, and you guys know I don't sell much on here. I don't push very hard on here, but you guys listening to the podcast are my people. And this is why I have an application process with the people that work with me, right? I want to work with my people. I want to work with people who are serious and they're ready to make a change, right? And so if you are ready, and only if you're ready, I would love to work with you guys. So this is a very direct pitch, a very direct sales technique I'm using here. I would love to work with you guys. And so what I would like to do, and I've never done this before, is I'd like to offer you podcast listeners $100 off your first month of working with me. Again, I've never done this. I think that discounts, aren't always the best move, but I think whenever it comes to rewarding people who have been loyal to me and been loyal to the podcast and have supported me throughout this, I think I'd be more than happy to give you guys $100 off your first month if that meant that we got to work together and make a serious transformation together, right? And so this deal is first come, first serve, and it is only available to 3 people, right? And it ends on Saturday night, January 16th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, all you have to do is fill out the very short application. It's linked in my description. And then there's a section on the application that says, how did you hear about my coaching? It's a drop down. All you do is choose podcast. And then after you click submit, I will send you over your next steps and we can go from there. But yeah, so that's it for Minisode number 104. I would love to work with you guys, fill out that application, and either way, thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. And that is it for Minisode 104. Thank you guys, as always, for listening and for watching. See ya.